Coming up in just a moment, Lobo head coach Paul Weir with our post-game coach's comments as New Mexico falls 78-75 to Colorado here tonight in Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. We welcome in.
Apologies, sorry, I this wasn't anything on purpose. I just got space there. Sorry about that.
No worries at all. It's great to have you, Coach Weir, and thank you for coming down to see us. And let's talk about the start first before we get to the finish, because you had not been getting off to good starts, and tonight you got off to a great start. I'm sure that was really pleasing for you. What was so good for UNM at the outset tonight?
Yeah, I thought the 20 minutes was great. I told the guys after the game it's why, unfortunately, it's irrelevant. To have 10 deflections in the second half, guard the way that we did, and then offensively just start to do some of the things we did was really frustrating. It's why I told them the beginning of games are I've never seen anything proven anywhere that it means anything. We've gotten off to 2 great starts this year, here against New Mexico State and here against Colorado, and we lost both games. So you have to finish games. You have to finish the opponent. You have to play with a style. We turned them over once in the second half with 10 deflections, and you're never going to win a game if that's going to be your defensive output. To turn them over 12 times in the first half, I'm great. I'm glad, like we did all those kinds of things. But if you can't follow that up and perpetuate that over the course of the game, you're not a very good basketball team. And unfortunately, tonight we weren't a good enough basketball team to win the game.
Coach, you came out focused and the energy defensively, and it looked like you maybe changed some strategies offensively, some maybe inside presence. It looked like you started offensively going inside to Jackson. Jackson really looked good with energy and involved in the offense.
Sure.
On the post-up, some inside outs. Was that the strategy going in?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's going to be going forward. I thought we did a really good job of getting the ball inside. We just couldn't get to the free throw line, and we couldn't make a layup. I get outshot 32-14 at the free throw line when we're throwing the ball inside all night long, and they're going to almost triple us on the free throw attempts. You're not going to win a ton of games. That's just the reality of it. We have to be able to finish layups, which tonight was exceptionally poor. Our ability to kind of finish layups around the rim, and then on top of that, the ability to draw fouls. I mean, that's where you draw fouls. I mean, statistically, you're going to draw them by getting the ball to the paint and to the rim, and they were able to get them, Colorado. And unfortunately, tonight, we just couldn't get to the foul line around there. We were down there. I thought there was traffic. I thought there was all kinds of stuff. I'll have to look at the film. I'm sure the officiating was excellent. It's not by me saying that, but you have to be able to execute when it gets down there, and we weren't able to do that tonight. And that's something we're going to have to improve on going forward.
They went on a 14-0 first half run after you took the big lead, 17 points, and the Lobos played through that. You didn't take a timeout, and you came back with an 11-0 spurt and got the lead back to double digits. There in the second half, when there was a 4 or 5 minute stretch there when the offense stagnated, was there a thought about let's bring them over and talk to them?
It's just they were great looks. I mean, we were missing layups. It wasn't like we were coming down and throwing the ball in the stands or taking bad shots off the backboard or air balls. I mean, we had layups. And it's hard to, when you're coming out of it, like half the shots, you're kind of saying that's a good shot. I mean, it's an open, you're at the rim, you're right there. Like, it's hard to call timeouts when they didn't do anything defensively to take anything away. We just couldn't offensively finish a possession properly. And you'd think eventually you're going to break through. Eventually those layups are going to start to go in. Eventually you're going to get some fouls and get to the free throw line. But we just couldn't, and I just kept waiting for that to turn. And in retrospect, maybe I could have called one, but I don't know. I just thought we had very good quality looks at the offensive end that we just couldn't finish on.
Do you think Tyler Bay, he had 5 shot blocks?
Yeah.
blocked shots there. The size inside may have caused that. The defense.
It bothered Vance for sure. Right. You know, I thought Vance got in there and kind of drew some bodies, and we've practiced that for 2 days. Like when you draw that second or third guy, our spacing and our movement, and then it goes there and then it goes there. But we kind of tried to finish some ones that really weren't quite there. And then the ones that were there, we just missed. I mean, we just missed some really good ones around the rim. Guards did, bigs did. I mean, we just had those 5-foot and in shots that were, in and out. And that's a little bit of coaching. We spend a lot of time on layups and finishing, but I probably haven't spent as much in the last 48 hours as I could have or should have. And other than that, it's just on me. Not other than that would be on me as a coach for not continuing to work on the technique of finishing a layup so that we can execute that play more often or plays more often.
The press looked great against Bradley on the road, and it looked even better, I thought, in the first half here tonight. And you talked about the turnovers we created in the first half, 12 of them, just 1 in the second half, and you mentioned only 10 deflections in the second half. Was it something that Colorado was doing differently that was better, or did you guys stop guarding the way that you were guarding in the first half?
I thought they stopped trying to attack the press. I thought in the first half they were getting it and really trying to score, and we were getting a lot of stuff at the back. And I thought in the second half they just pulled it right back out and tried to run more offense, which is a good, obviously, decision on their part. But I just didn't like our energy. I think when you're a pressing team and you're up, it's just a little bit different than when you're a pressing team and you're down. And unfortunately, we have not had a lot of these kinds of leads and showed that we don't have the ability to continue to play with the urgency that you need as if you are down, and we just didn't have anywhere near the defensive effort in the second half that I would have hoped, coupled with not being able to kind of finish at the offensive end with layups and free throws.
And I think that was the difference in the second half. Colorado brought the energy.
Yep.
But also their game plan to dribble drive. I mean, they really didn't shoot the 3 ball at all.
Yeah.
Dribble drive, get to the rim or the free throw line.
No question.
Did a great job.
No, and that's the thing. For them to get 32-14 at the free throw line, if you take out every other stat at the court, that team's usually going to win the game. And for us to get outshot at the free throw line, 32-14, it's just not whatever we are. We're 5th in the country at drawing fouls. I mean, if we're only going to get to the free throw line 14 times, we didn't have a good offensive night.
Only 4 in the second half.
It's just not going to happen. Now, again, in the course of the game, you're frustrated because you feel like you're getting it in there and you feel like you're creating contact and you feel like you should be getting to the free throw line, and you're looking at the other end thinking like, wow, that gets to the free throw line. But, that's not what this game was decided on. I'll watch the film and kind of see what I think, but we just couldn't get there. We couldn't get to the free throw line. We couldn't make a layup. And unfortunately, when we got to the free throw line, we couldn't make a free throw. So layups and free throws ended up being what did us in at both ends of the floor.
One other quick thought. You did cut down on the offensive rebounds in the second half. They had 10 of them in the first half. Was that another area of focus at halftime? And what about that piece of it? Because it has been a concern.
Yeah, I think in the first half they were just attacking the press and shooting those quick shots in the press. And, you're out of position and they're kind of getting some of those loose balls. In the second half, they played a much more deliberate style and looked to attack us one-on-one and looked to go at certain guys and attack them one-on-one and expose them there.
All right, Coach Weir, a solid effort for your team tonight and no moral victories, and you really wanted this one badly. Get back to work, and we'll see you for Central Arkansas.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir, our guest. New Mexico falls to Colorado. Final score, CU 78, Lobos 75. Zach Ottman has been our broadcast producer and engineer in the studios of Learfield in Jeff City. My on-site engineer is Michael Carlisle, my broadcast partner, the Lobo legend Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. J.J. Buck is at the ready at the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino locally here in Albuquerque for your phone calls on the Overtime Call-In Show. He'll take them for you here in just a moment. Hunter, you wore the cherry in silver. A loss like this hurts in your building.
Yeah, it's one thing if, like I said, losing on the road to St. Mary's or something like that, but in the pit, this is tough.
And to have a lead.
And have a lead. I mean, you're
a second half lead.
Yeah, you're winning by 17 points, and to lose at home, it's a tough one to swallow. So I know Coach is taking it pretty hard.
That 17-point lead in the first half, but the Lobos were up double digits midway through the second half, and Colorado was able to claw their way back in and win at the tape. And Coach Weir is already getting back to work because he was hard at work upstairs. Yeah,
that's his style. He'll be back at it, and you could see they made some adjustments. Like I said, that first 15 minutes of the game. And we talked about getting off to slow starts, and he started a freshman, Drew Drenning, played him a lot of minutes, made some adjustments, moving Jackson inside, giving him some post presence, and you could see the difference at least in that first 15 minutes. Just got to carry that out throughout the whole game.
Yeah, Drennan career high over 26 minutes. He had the 6 assists, a career high. The true freshman had a terrific game tonight for New Mexico. The Lobos fall just short as Vance Jackson misses the 3 at the horn to tie. Colorado 78, New Mexico 75, the final. CU extends its win streak to 6. They improved to 8-1. The Lobos have dropped 3 straight. New Mexico is 4-4. Our next broadcast for you is against Central Arkansas. It comes in 5 days' time as Central Arkansas comes to Dream Salary to the Pit. That is a 2 p.m. tip-off. Our airtime is 1:30 with the Lobo basketball pregame show for you this weekend. That'll do it for us for tonight. Your final score for the final time. The Lobos fall to Colorado. CU 78, New Mexico 75. Good night, everybody. You've listened to Lobo Basketball from Learfield.